Hello, and welcome to the official Translink Roblox operator briefing video. This briefing will help prepare you on becoming our newest operator, including the intake process, the many operating procedures you will learn, and how training sessions and assessment are conducted. Before we start, we will go over what you can expect in this video. The first section that will be talked about is the steps on how the operator intake process works, including writing an operator application. Afterwards, general road laws and operating procedures are mentioned, which all operators are expected to know of. The briefing will go over what to expect when operating in a run session. Quota is also brought up in this video. Finally, you will learn how training sessions are run, how you will be assessed, and the details on how you either fail or pass a training. Before applying, you must make sure you meet the requirements. In order to apply, you must be 13 or over, be in the Roblox group, and be in the Discord communications server, otherwise you will automatically be rejected. The links to the group and server are listed in the description. After applying, please wait patiently for our team to read your form. Asking for results will either delay or decline your application. If you pass your application, you are issued a new trainee ID, which is used as your ticket to attend a training session. Like applications, do not ask for our staff to host training sessions. Please wait patiently for a planned training session to occur. When attending, ensure you pay full attention. Passing a training will make you the newest operator of the team. Translink operates under Canadian road laws. Drivers are to drive on the right side of the road, keeping caution of signage coming their way. Arrow lane markings at intersections restrict drivers to traveling in the direction the arrow is traveling, such as only being able to turn left on a left turn lane. Another key factor of Canadian road laws is the ability to turn right on red lights. However, this is voided when signage at an intersection does not tell you to turn right on red. Speed limits are enforced to ensure the safety around our roads and to prevent reckless driving. You are to follow speed limits along any road corridor in the map at all times. The following is a short list of different speed limits based on where you're driving. In the bus yard and at terminals, the maximum speed is 30 km an hour. On regular roads, the maximum speed is 60 km an hour. On major bridges, the maximum speed is 80 km an hour. Finally, on highways, there is no set speed limit. Some corridors have unique speeds assigned to them through in-game speed limit signage or markings, so please pay attention to them. We will quickly go over a few road signs you will see regularly while driving. At a stop sign, you must make sure to complete a full stop and look both ways before proceeding. A no entry sign explains itself. Do not enter when you see this sign in place, otherwise you may end up driving in the wrong direction. Some no entry signs will have an exception underneath saying buses are allowed to proceed. You will also come across permission and restriction direction signage, guiding you on if turning or heading straight is permissible or not. We all know that green means go, and red means stop. However, did you know that yellow also means stop? It's best if you take caution when approaching an intersection controlled by traffic lights. Even if you may have a green light, it could change to yellow at any time. If you believe that you do not have the time to slow down, you may proceed with no problem. However, you must stop at a yellow whenever you have the space in front to stop completely. Another type of traffic light you will come across is one with an advanced turn signal. In addition with the red, yellow and green lights, there is a fourth arrow light that points in the direction of travel. When this arrow light is illuminated green, those turning in the direction of the arrow proceeds without having to worry about oncoming traffic. When the arrow light is off, those turning can still proceed whether or not the signal is green, as well as keeping caution for oncoming traffic. One other important traffic light at some intersections are green arrow signals. Those heading in the direction of the arrow pays attention to this signal specifically, which are typically marked by turn signal signage beside it. When this signal is red, users turning must wait until it turns green, even if traffic heading another direction from the same way is clear to proceed. We will now go over the different keys used to operate one of our buses. Our buses use WASD for throttle, steering, and braking. Gears are between drive, neutral and reverse that are changed with the left and right square bracket keys. Keep in mind that you can only change gears when the bus is turned on. Interior lights are turned on and off with J. Fog lights are controlled with F. Left and right turn signals are Z and C, while the hazard lights are X. The key for the parking brake is P, used to secure your bus when stopped. Never use the parking brake to slow down. The front doors are opened and closed with key M, while the rear is with key N. It is crucial to remember never to drive your bus with your doors open. Buses also have the feature to unlock the rear door instead of force opening it, which is by key B. The keybind for kneeling the bus is K. Deploying the ramp uses key G. The horn is the last keybind you're expected to know, whose keybind is H. We will now go over the destination system, starting with the destination codes. Destination codes are regular signs not involving a route. They're formatted into a 2-digit code starting from 01. This includes not in service, which is entered into the input using code 01, or training vehicle, whose code is 03. The next sector within the destination system are PR codes, where PR stands for public relation. PR codes are extra codes that you may see that repeatedly switches between a desk code, such as sorry bus full. PR codes are formatted with just its own number starting from 1, and submitted through the other input on top. To disable PR, type code 0 into the top input. Lastly, we will talk about route codes, used while driving on an in-service route. These codes are entered using a 4-digit format. The first 3 digits account for the route number, while the final digit accounts for the direction number, from a list of all possible destinations within that route. For example, inputting a code for Route 99 for direction 1, you would input code 0991 in the destination input. For Route 33 for direction 2, the corresponding code would be 0332. Route 480 for direction 2 would be entered into the system as code 4802. Entering numbers into a run box are straightforward. Simply click on the Run Box button and input a number in each of the 3 boxes. Please keep in mind that you should not input letters into the run boxes, except for the letter X, to substitute as a blank. The first procedure we'll cover is how to start up your bus. First, enable your parking brake. Then, open the interface and press Night Run. You must avoid pressing Day Run as they don't enable exterior lighting, unlike Night Run. Wait for a few seconds, then press the engine button. The engine will start and your bus is now running. Now, on to the shutdown procedure. After stopping, enable your parking brake. Make sure your ramp is stowed and your bus is not kneeled. Set your destination and PR codes to 0 so that the sign is blank. Turn off all interior lights. Lastly, press the off button. We will now briefly go over the reverse procedure. Enable your hazards, give a few honks, and set your gear to R. If all is clear behind, you may proceed to reverse. Now, onto the bus stopping procedure. While running on a route, You must stop at your stop whenever a commuter wants to board or has requested a stop. Have your right signal on while pulling into the stop. Then, open your doors accordingly, and kneel if necessary. As you close your doors, have your left signal on while departing. With both the unlock and force open feature with the rear door, how would you know which one to use? If you're running a B-line or rapid bus route, like the R4, or if you're running a bus bridge, such as the Canada Line shuttle, these routes feature all-door boarding, where you force open your rear door. Every other regular service route, including express and local, only permits you to unlock the rear door. The next topic will be the terminal procedures. Every terminus stop or station in our maps are grouped into 3 classes: Class A, Class B, and Class C. Each class involves a unique terminal procedure, which differs from one another. We will quickly demonstrate the terminal procedures involved at each class. Class A terminals are defined as bus exchanges with more than one component within them, such as drop-off bays and separate layover areas. The first step a driver takes when arriving at a Class A terminus is to head to the drop-off area for any passengers to get off. After that, drivers will drive over to the terminal's layover area, where they will park until their next departure. Some Class A terminals feature a break room, where operators can hang out in before departing. When it's time to depart, operators are to drive out of the layover area and pull into their route's loading bay for a few seconds. Then, they'll exit the terminal and move on with their route. Class B terminals are similar to Class A terminals, except operators lay over right at their route's loading bay. When an operator pulls into a Class B terminus, typically they'll be directed to head directly to their route's loading bay to stop and lay over at until departure. At departure time, the operator simply departs the loading bay and moves on with their route. Unlike other classes, Class C termini are not found within bus loops nor stations. Drivers simply terminate at a stop on the street. There is a more broad aspect with this class, as it can vary on where operators lay over, either at the route's loading bay, at a separate layover stop, or on another street altogether. Using the Crown terminus in Vancouver as an example, the driver turns left onto Crown to drop off any passengers at the last stop. Then, the driver makes its way back onto 41st by looping around up to the layover stop, where they will wait until departure. Finally, when it's time, the operator will move up to the loading bay, load passengers, and depart. We use timestamps and fixed layovers to determine when operators depart their starting point. Bus departures are found within a document shown exclusively for operators to look for in the Departures channel. Fixed departures offer a guaranteed layover time until your next departure, which can range between 2 to 6 minutes. Let's say we were running the 16 Arbutus to 63rd Avenue, and we arrived there at 1:53 p.m. As we check the list of departures and pinpoint our route and terminus, we can see that we have a fixed layover of 5 minutes. 5 minutes after 1:53 p.m. is 1:58 p.m., which is the time we would depart. Timestamps are used for scheduled departures. The departure an operator takes is determined when they arrive at a terminus. This time is compared to the next available departure, in after-the-hour format. Let's say we arrive at Bridgeport Station at 8:07 a.m. after completing a run on the 403. In after-the-hour format, this will be taken as 07, 7 minutes past the hour. Comparing this to the next departure, 11, it is determined that we depart Bridgeport at 8:11 a.m. There are a couple exceptions with the time-stamped departures, to ensure that players don't have to wait too long for laying over. The first exception is if your next supposed departure is more than 9 minutes away, you may choose to depart in just a couple minutes. For example, if I arrive at UBC as a 480 at 3:06 p.m., and my next departure would be 3:17 p.m., that is a whopping 11 minutes to sit around and do nothing. With this exception, I'd only have to wait a bit and depart by 3:09 p.m. The second exception is allowing you to depart right away if you supposedly just missed a departure slated for under a minute ago. For example, if an R5 departure from Burrard Station was 58, and I arrived there at 11:59 p.m., that would mean I missed the departure by just a minute. So I can either choose to depart now or wait until the next departure, which in this case be 12:03 a.m. Our next topic is about routes and route signage. This will go over the different types of routes and the signage you'll expect to see around our maps. Route signs guide you on where you need to go, as well as give brief instructions on what to do, so please pay close attention to them. A rule of thumb with route signage is to assume you keep heading straight if you don't see any signs that apply to your route. Deadheading is the term used when traveling not in service between terminals or to and from the depot. The signs used for deadheads are dark green with orange text. Regular service is the main type of route you'll come across. Regular service routes simply stop at all stops, unless told not to by a sign. The signage for regular service is black with white text. The night bus is Translink's late night service which runs when all other routes have ended for the night. Night bus follows the same rules as regular service routes. The colors for night bus signage are teal with black text. Express service is meant to bring a faster commute between select stops. When running an express route, only stop at stops that tell you to do so. Express signage are blue with yellow text. Rapid Bus is the branded express service of Translink, bringing fast, frequent service along major corridors within the region. Rapid Bus also follows express service rules, where you only stop at those that tell you to stop. Rapid Bus signs are green with blue text. As mentioned previously, all Rapid Bus routes, as well as the 99B line, feature all-door boarding, where the operator force opens the rear door. Bus bridges run as a replacement for the SkyTrain, typically when a disruption in SkyTrain service occurs. Their signs depend on the color of the SkyTrain line. Service is similar to express rules, since bus bridges only stop at bus bridge stops by stations. Bus bridge layover rules are disregarded as they have a fixed layover of 3 minutes. Rush hour service follows the same protocol as a regular service route, but they only run in one direction at a time. Typically, they run one direction in the morning rush, then they run the other direction in the afternoon. Other routes may only be running one direction at any time. The 32 is a rush hour route in Vancouver, which runs only towards downtown in the morning rush hour, and only towards Dunbar in the afternoon rush hour. When you complete a run on a rush hour route like the 32, you are to deadhead back to where your trip started, then you repeat that same service trip. Signage will remind you whether or not you are to deadhead back to the starting point. After deadheading back, your trip will begin as normal again. Follow the respective layover procedures before you make the same trip once again. The next section of this briefing is what to expect in a run session. Runs are ultimately the face of the group's operations. In these sessions, operators are dispatched on a certain route or two to service, given by the host. You can check the Discord Events tab in the Communications server to check on any upcoming runs. Crucial details are listed in these events, which includes the type of dispatch that is being conducted for that particular run. Run hosts have a choice to use 3 different types of dispatch. The first choice is getting operators to fill out a Google form that the host has created. The second choice of dispatch is getting operators to send a DM to the host, giving the needed information the host may request, including the operator's name and badge. The third choice is having dispatch done in-game, where operators would line up in the dispatch room for the host to gather their information there. Once the map is open and the run has started, follow the instructions from the host depending if there will be a staff shuttle or not. If there is no shuttle, operators will be teleported to the depot. If a dispatch method other than in-game was used, operators will then wait inside the lounge until a sheet is posted in the dispatch channel. Like departures, dispatch is seen exclusively by staff only. If in-game dispatch is being used, operators will line up single file in front of the dispatch office, and wait until they are called one by the host or another run manager. Once an operator is called up by the host will request certain information. This will include asking for the operator's badge for validation, and may also include any bus or route preferences. However, don't fret if you cannot request a certain bus or route, it's the host's decision in the end. Once the host has gathered the information from all operators attending the run, they will fill out and post the run logs in the dispatch channel. The run logs contain your assignment for the run, including your bus, assigned route, and where you start. At this time, the host will give permission for operators to head out into the yard to retrieve their bus. The logs tell you which track your bus is parked on, so make sure to look for the track number if you can't seem to find your bus right away. You will be allowed to set up and start your bus as soon as you retrieve it. Make sure to follow the startup procedure properly, as well as setting your run number. Furthermore, you are to set your destination to not in service, and turn on your interior lights. Interior lights must be enabled while in service. Once everything is set up, and the host has given the green signal to do so, depart the yard and start heading to your starting point. Make sure to pay attention to the deadheading route signs you come across, as well as following all road laws in a safe manner. Follow the terminal procedures when you arrive at your start point, depending on what class terminus it is. In this case, we're arriving at 29th Avenue Station, a Class B terminus. The routes we're supposed to run are the 29 and 33, which I'm supposed to interline service with. However, both the 29 and 33 run from there, so how would I know which route to start with? The first route listed on the run logs is the route you'll start on, in this case the 33. When it's departure time, we'd leave 29th Avenue Station and make our way towards UBC, as indicated on the run logs. Arriving at a terminus is nothing new now, simply make sure to follow the rules of terminal procedures. UBC is a Class A terminus, so we drop off any commuters at the drop-off area. Then, we'll head to layover and check our next departure as we look at the departures list. At departure time, we'd head out into the loading bay of the 33, then immediately exit the loop and continue the round trip back to 29th Avenue. We have now returned at 29th Avenue Station after completing a full round trip on the 33. Since we're back at the terminus where our two assigned lines both terminate at, it's time to switch routes. This time, we are to run a round trip of service on the 29 to the Elliott terminus and back. We will now follow the terminal procedures once again and take our departure for the 29. Run sessions last at least an hour after all operators have been dispatched. Nearing the end of the run, the host will ask for all operators to return back to the yard. Operators can either choose to short turn en route or finish up their trip, unless directed otherwise by the host. To head back to the depot, Follow the deadheading signage that says depot, which are distributed all around the map leading from almost every terminus stop. The run host will direct you on where to park when you have arrived back at the yard. Find your track and make sure to pull to the very front to give as much space as possible behind you. Once you pull up, park and shut down your bus using the correct shutdown procedure. Again, make sure your destination is blank, your interior lights are off, and your parking brake is set. After you shut down your bus, hop out and wait until the run host dismisses you. You have now successfully completed your operating shift for the run. The SCBCTA has a quota system in place to ensure the activity of our staff members within the group. For operators, the quota is to attend and complete 2 runs a month. For a run to count towards quota, the operator must make sure to stay and operate for at least an hour. A run will not count towards quota if the operator leaves less than an hour after the session has started, or if the operator was taken off by the host due to any reason. You are welcome to leave early at any given time, but you need to provide a valid reason to do so. You must not be seen on any other Roblox game for the remainder of the run. If you attend less than 2 runs for any particular month, your quota would not be met and you will receive a quota strike. Receiving 3 strikes will make you lose the ability to operate a vehicle. However, there is a way to remove a strike as time progresses through future quota cycles. If you consistently meet quota over the course of time, you may contact a higher rank to see if you're eligible to have your strikes removed. The last section of this briefing is a quick overview of what to expect in a training. You will need to provide your trainee ID that you received from passing your application to the trainer at the start of the run. Once all is settled, your trainer will assign you a bus. Ultimately, all parts of the evaluation come from what has been talked about in this briefing. The first part is testing your knowledge on the different keybinds. After keybind assessment, you will be directed to drive around the map for a certain period of time, to test your knowledge on road laws. The third and final part of assessment will include route training, which tests your knowledge on route types and the different operating procedures. Deductions occur when you either violate a road law or carry out a procedure improperly. You will lose points depending on the severity of the situation. Too many deductions and points lost will result in you failing the training, so ensure to take your time and stay confident throughout the process. Before the briefing video concludes, we will bring up a couple more points to take note of. Please make sure to take your time during the application and training assessment. Rushing will increase your chances of failing the process. Everything that will test you in the application quiz as well as training comes right from this briefing, so don't hesitate to skim over this video once again to strengthen your knowledge. Lastly, when you complete the intake process, you will be assigned a staff ID. Take note of this as this is your ticket for the right to operate. Run hosts and supervisors will ask for your badge for validation at a run, or occasionally while driving. We thank you for paying attention to this briefing video, as well as your interest in becoming an operator at the SCBCTA. We wish you the best of luck while going through the operator intake process, and we can't wait to have you on the team.